Good evening and welcome to the 1927 Club. Don't adjust your sets. Mr. Rhys David Evans is not available this evening, but I am welcomed by Mr. Evan James and Mr. Aaron Anderson. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Good evening.
Good evening. Doing a little better now that's done, because I was the most uncertain about this game, if I'm being honest.
What are you stressing about, bud? It was never in doubt, man.
Oh, of course, yeah. Forgot, sorry.
The threesome becomes a foursome. I believe Mr. Robert Boyle is joining our conversation as well. He couldn't leave out, could he? But he's just going round and round for me at the moment, but hopefully he'll come in soon. But yes, good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. We're all here to discuss Luton Town versus Cardiff City this afternoon. Another good 3 points on the road. Couldn't have asked for better, really, gents, could we?
No, not at all.
A few more goals would have been nice, but apart from that, I'm happy.
Chances out there to have had a couple more, Ev?
You've got to put the Ruben Colwell one away, haven't you? He's completely overthought that, hasn't he? And he's just thought he couldn't believe how good of a chance he had when he got the ball back. He's like, oh no, it would have been too good if he scored that, so he had to miss it just to keep his ego in check. I think that's why he did it.
Can we give him much grief around that? To be honest, though, let's be fair. I think listening to some of the Luton podcasts and match reactions, I think he ran the game for us again, didn't he? I think his performances this season to date have been nothing but, well, he's a different player for me.
Absolutely leading from the front, isn't he? I think the numbers that I've seen for his run-in today was absolutely ridiculous, by far head and shoulders above anyone on that pitch today, weren't they?
I think since BBM has come in, I think the mentality switch for not just Ruben, but for a number of players. I think we mentioned about it in the week that last season we had good individual players, but this season that mentality have kind of changed somewhat. Then, and they're all out there, and it's evident to see that they're all fighting for each other. You mentioned about the numbers there that Ruben would have had running, and he doesn't stop from the first minute right till the end. His engine this season has been incredible.
I think it's very easy as well, isn't it? I think Brian set him up with a list of expectations, goals, and sort of targets, and I think everybody buys into that, and that's the thing. Previous managers talk about it, but no one can actually get the squad to achieve it. But watching the it's great watching the celebrations at the end, but it's those moments, those last-ditch tackles, that celebration when the keeper makes a save, that togetherness. I think that's what testaments to me, and I think you've seen that today all through the pitch. And, I think it's only going to get stronger and better,
Agreed. What's your thoughts, Ev?
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely didn't know what to expect going into this game. It could have gone any way. It could have been loads of goals going in. It could have been just the one or none. I had no idea what to expect, just purely because of, I didn't think Luton would have a flawless season this season. And it's clearly, it shows that everyone could be everyone in this league as well. I think this league's probably more bonkers than the Championship in terms of because we're probably new to this league. And everyone, again, all the bookies say, Luton will go straight back up. I know we only just start the season. It's too early to say. But I always go against the bookies. And I genuinely think Luton will be a team that will struggle more than people think this season. And no doubt we'll have our patches as well. But to see us start this sharp the season, an unbeaten run, and not just picking up draws, by the way, because there's two different meanings of unbeaten. But yeah, it's just, you can't really ask so much more. Only 2 more points we could have got so far, I think.
Good evening, Robert. How are we?
Muchas gracias. Thank you for having me. This is a delight, isn't it? Saturday night. What a treat. That can only mean one thing. My kid's still away and my missus is working nights. Let's go.
Happy days.
Yeah, good one tonight, back.
Yeah, it was, again, a great performance. I think, you watching the game, I think we controlled, the first 30, 35 minutes, I thought we were outstanding. We just didn't allow Luton to play any type of football, really. I think we looked so composed and controlled on the ball. Couple of touches went astray here and there, but the first 30, 35 minutes, I thought we were outstanding. The only thing that was missing out of that performance was the ball hit in the back of the net for me.
Absolutely.
Do you think we got to be quick and got to attempt to pull a trigger more? We've had a little discussion off show about this, and I like the way what he's adapted and what he's bringing in. Don't get me wrong, but there must have been about half a dozen times today where you're just crying out for somebody just to take a hit. Bagan, Wintle, Turnbull, Colwell, they all had chances in and around just outside the box. And I get it. That's not his meant to do that sort of thing, but it does still bother me that
I suppose as a fan, we probably looking at it and we're thinking, shoot to have a goal. But I suppose his message to the players is be patient. If we've got to go back and work again, we'll kind of go again. But I completely get what you're saying. But looking from the outside in, that's what it's kind of looking like to me. He doesn't want him to panic and shoot if it's not, if it's a 50-50 or whatever. He'd rather recycle the ball type of thing, and we'll go again.
Yeah. It definitely works. Like, obviously, there's a reason why he's coaching and his team are top of the league. Like, and I'm sat here on a Saturday night talking to you three. Do you know what I mean? But no, it is like. But I just wish there's a couple of times I just win. Just have a fucking go. Just have a strike. Have a go. What's the worst that could happen? But
yeah, I think. I think the reason I understand the reason why he's doing it. He's looking for that clear-cut chance, that patient play, teaching his players to be patient. And obviously, he's coaching the players, not the fans, right? So the fans are always going to react how they're going to react. And we're a very impatient fan base. And most fan bases are, if I'm being honest, because if you see that football day in, day out, and we're getting 1-1 draws, 0-0s and stuff like that, you could understand the frustration. But it is working. So obviously, he knows more than we do. However, we are League One, where there's a lot of keepers who are untested or they're not proven keepers. League One, sometimes you see a lot more change around with the keepers as well. So it's like, this is the league to be testing the keepers. Because I'm going to be honest, not every club has a Nathan Trott in their team, does they? So, you know what I mean? I had Nathan Globetrotters here for a reason for the past 3 podcasts, because I saw straight away about how much more composed and relaxed, alert, but composed that the defence look with him. And I gotta say, it could have been a different game if he weren't for him. And I no doubt Horvath can pull off some really good saves like he did for Aston Villa. But some of these saves that Nathan Trott was making, he shouldn't have been saving them. How he's getting to them, it's like he slows down time. And he got us out of jail a few times. But then again, if we didn't have him, maybe you could question more than the lack of being clinical still. And I don't want to be negative. That's the only thing I worry about, because he was my man of match today, our keeper. Like, he kept us in that game for so long. And credit to him, but yeah, it could have been a different game.
I also think as well, a lot of it is, under a new manager and there's a new style of play, a lot of it's information overload. So players are going to be very rigid and, structured as to what they're going to do. I think as the season progresses and they feel more comfortable in that shape, I do think you're going to get a few more moments of those sort of individual brilliance. I just think it's just at the moment, it's just making sure that they're sort of doing everything the manager asks and probably not getting themselves knocked out of the team. But you know what? At the minute, it seems to be working, doesn't it? We're in a position where we're moaning about a few people should be shooting more. We're winning games, we're top of the league. And our defensive record's unreal at the moment. So
100%.
And I think obviously Trott I seen a comment from a Luton fan earlier about the fact we had an octopus in goals today, which I thought was brilliant. And yeah, you can't knock any of his performances, to be honest. He's been outstanding, but I know he was, like Evan alluded to, man of the match without shadow of a doubt. But I think we've got to give a bit of credit to the people playing just in front of him as well. Dylan Lawler, Will Fish again, excellent today. I was quite not disappointed, obviously, because I didn't want him to play well. But the first 30, 35 minutes, I just didn't think Luton were in the game. I was surprised. And then they kind of just went direct then, didn't they? They were playing long balls up. There was a couple of iffy moments at times. But I thought for the majority of the game, our centre-backs dealt with it pretty okay, really.
That's the thing. There was a £10 million centre half on the other side of the pitch, and they didn't look. They looked miles ahead of that.
Willock sent him for hot dog, didn't he?
Oh, I tell you what. On that, sorry, Willock. This just proves my point, right? Because as soon as you put him in the middle, he's got so much more he can do, and I find he's just naturally more comfortable in the middle because he's got people who are lunging at him, and he's really good at sort of like turning left and right and just cutting in and out. He's got a really good shoulder feint and everything. I just think he's wasted on the wing because the best he's going to do is cut inside and either cross or shoot, or be shown the outside and try and cross that way. And I understand now. I see like Ruben Cole was a lot more on the left-hand side this time because in the second half you could see they were swapping wings a bit with Ruben Colwell, and then you'd find Willock would drift inside, and that's where he scored. And it's like it's finally like a breath of fresh air seeing him where I feel like he's most viable. And whether he starts as a winger and then the tactics change for him to play number 10, but I just feel like we finally like found the right like position or role for him because for so long I'd be so excited at him signing, and I just haven't seen any of it until now, and it does concern me a bit. But it's almost like a relief that it's weight off my shoulder that okay, we actually do have a player here in this. So it gives me a bit more confidence now that other people are clicking with it as well. It's not just 11 players. We've actually got people we can bring on or sub wherever that's going to do a job as well.
Yeah, good point, buddy. Good point. So let's talk about the first half then, obviously. Let's talk about the lineup first. Any surprises from any of you three with any of the changes that were made today? Obviously, Turnbull come back into the side. Willock obviously started for Ollie Tanner. And obviously, Callum Robertson up front instead of Salek.
That was the biggest surprise for me, to be fair. I just thought it's not the way that Brian likes to play, but you know what? We've won a game, so I can't knock it. But I thought the patterns of play early on, actually he got it right. And Robbo, you can see he's not firing at the moment. You can see he looks a bit off it with his sort of metal approach to it, but he's still a winning runner. He's still trying. I just think that he's got to be able to find that sort of
hit the nail on the head for me, but there, mate, because I thought he pressed really hard. He tried really hard. It's just he had that one opportunity, didn't he, on the 6-yard box where he kind of fluffed it with his left foot. I think if that had hit the back of the net, his confidence is back up on cloud 9. So I think he just needs a ball to nestle in that back on the back of the net, doesn't he?
Absolutely, but we've made 3 changes. When we're sort of thinking, are they the right changes? Have we taken some of the stronger players out? And we've played against a team, irrelevant of all our opinions on Luton, are one of the strongest teams in that league, and we've come away, from home, and we've won and we got a clean sheet. So it's fantastic, isn't it?
What's your thoughts on the changes, Rob?
Yeah, I do you know what I mentioned it on the video I did for Lewis. I had a little feeling, I don't know why, I had a bit of an inkling that he might go Robinson today, just purely on the basis of their centre halves are not the quickest about. They are easy to get at, and because they play 3 at the back as well. I thought that could be an option, and so I was surprised, but I wasn't as well at the same time. I was happy with Robinson. I thought, and I made my comments about him the other day, and I stand by it. I don't think he played that well the other day. I thought it's not so much his want, but his attitude, I don't think was right. I thought he was much better today. I agree, he needs a goal. When he got caught in 2 minds when Ruben squared it to him in the game. Robinson, on form, smashes that in the goals, like no question. I mean, I think he was caught a bit off guard, in fairness. I don't think he was expecting Ruben to pass it, given what Ruben's like when he gets an opportunity, in fairness. But
I think on that point there, I think going back to what you said earlier about having a go, Ruben should have just put his foot through that, shouldn't he?
100%, mate. And then that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, Ruben's had shots from further away and more complicated places like that. You would just put your money on him having a go at that. Like,
here's a question for you all, then, right? here's a question for you all. Ruben had the opportunity to put his foot through that ball. You can see Robbo's in a bit of space 6 yards out. With him being captain, do you think an element of that was I'll pass it to Robbo so he can score a goal, maybe?
I think it's, I don't know. I just think he's just shocked of like how easy he kind of won the ball back, because it's like he's been pressing all game, and then all of a sudden he gets a clear-cut chance on goal. I just think he's got 10,000 thoughts in his mind, and he thinks I've got to chip it because he's running out, and he's probably caught in like 10,000 different thoughts. That's just the way I look at it, because I don't see any world where you don't shoot that. Like if you get that opportunity, I shoot every time. At least that's how I think about it, because the chances of it going in when you keep us that far out is a decent chance for me. But I have to watch it back again to answer that question specifically.
For me, it was, being a goalkeeper myself, their keeper was playing very high very early on, and you can see he's come out to rush man, not ball. And I think what he's done there, because I think Ruben was going to square it to Callum. And I think when he's rushed the man, I think Callum's just got himself all confused. And, by the time he's had a chance to shoot, he's just killed his angle. But it just felt like, to me, that was what the keeper was intending to do.
Yeah, I think might have got mixed up with the other chance.
Oh, right. Was this the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
First half, I think.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that one a little bit later anyway. But as we're talking about Ruben then, and obviously now he's obviously captain today, I've just been so impressed with his game and the way he talks to individuals on the field. Some of the decisions that went against us today, he's straight over to the referee, telling players to kind of go away. I just think he's matured so quick in such a short space of time. Credit to the coaches and whoever's working with him and obviously supporting him in that senior role, because like I said earlier, I think he looks a different player for us at the moment. And one of my biggest concerns is we've still got a week left in the transfer window, and at the moment the bloke's on fire, isn't he?
At the moment.
The club would be silly to accept a bid now for him.
Yeah. It'd be a January job, if anything, I think, mate. I think January could be a concern if he's still performing like this. That could be a concern, a real concern now for us. But yeah, I think it's too late in the window now. Personally, I fucking hope anyway.
It's never too late. But ask Peter Odemwangi or whatever his name was.
That one lives rent. Do you know what? That lives rent free in my head. That and Joe's. I know we're going way off topic, but screw it. Remember when Sky Sports News used to do the interviews and at grounds and things like that on deadline day, and that guy with a women's tool was smashing in the reporter's face. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Brilliant. Going back to obviously the starting lineup then, young Ronan Capaccio, right back. I thought again today, absolutely outstanding. He had a bit of a battle on that left-hand side with the Luton player. Was it Ali, I think his name was? They had a bit of a battle there, but I thought he was outstanding.
Absolutely.
Do you think Perry NG is going to come straight back in, or I think he's going to have to work his nuts off, isn't he, in fairness?
I don't think Perry fits into a back four the way that Brian plays. I think we had the conversation last night on the show that he only fits in a fiver at centre half as a footballing centre half, but he hasn't got that dynamicness. He hasn't got that pace to get down the wing. I just
in fairness to Capaccio, he's not afraid to get forward and support Ashford on our right hand side, is he?
Absolutely.
He's everywhere in the pitch, though, isn't he? He's towards the end, the further the game goes on, the more positions you see him in, and in the end, he was in like an inverted sort of winger. Like it's really odd. But I mean, he's like they've all, to be fair to them, right? They've all got bags of energy, which I never knew they had. It's almost like all they worked on all season was two-touch football and fitness, because that's two things that we really, really lacked last season, as well as goals. But I don't know. It just seemed like last season we started games and we already looked a bit tired or down in the dumps. But like this season, every game we start is so fast paced. Even if we give the ball away, we win it back straight away, and that's from all of our players. And I think it does help having a young squad who wants to make a good impression. But the other benefit with that is that everyone's on their toes constantly, and we've never had that in in years, really.
Yeah, going back to Capaccio being an 18-year-old whippersnipper, he should be running up and down that line all day, every day. Not that I would have been able to done it when I was 18, mine, but no. Again, solid performance. I thought he was brilliant. I think we mentioned about Lola and Fish. All happy with their performances today? How do you think they dealt with? Because they brought another big forward on second half, didn't they? Or like stronger forward.
They just complement each of us so well, don't they? And they look like they've been in the game for a very, very long time, and quite deceiving because Lawler's such a small guy, isn't he? But he's so strong. He's tenacious. He wins everything first and second ball, and him and Fish just seem to know what the other one's doing at all times. It's credit to and to be able to keep out Chambers, who has all the experience, creators of players, and to keep out Darland. You've got to be half decent players, haven't you, in that league?
I just like that BBM doesn't have he's not like perhaps with previous managers. We kind of went with a tried and tested. If your name fitted, you kind of played. Whereas BBM is not afraid to play the youngsters. If you're good enough, you're old enough. He's kind of got that mentality, and I think is proving wonders at the moment because they're not letting the team down whatsoever. For me,
agreed. Yeah.
Joel Bagan, another solid performance on the left from Joel today.
Yeah, and a physical one as well. I love that he gets stuck right in, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not afraid to put a challenge in, is Joel, is he? Let's be fair. It must be the Irish in him, perhaps.
He's a very interesting one, though, because I think that side would have been definitely a side that they would have been looking to recruit during the summer, but he just keeps coming up with 8s out of 10s, doesn't he? And
I do think we need someone there to push him, though. Would you agree?
No, I agree with that,
yeah. Yeah. I'm going to keep the midfield. I'll keep Willock until we'll go Ashford first.
Yeah,
thought he worked hard up and down today.
Yeah.
He's so good. He works his ass off, doesn't he? He's not the biggest of lads, but he just don't stop. And and that's why fans love him so much, because he's just got that raw enthusiasm to just not give up no matter what. Play against bigger players than him, don't care. He'll still just get stuck in and not mess about. And he's a credit to himself, mate. And fair play to him. He's coming along nicely already this season.
He doesn't get a lot of
He's not very good at doing birthday videos, though, because he sent happy 9th birthday to my boy yesterday. But we'll take her. Ryan Wintle.
Oh, yeah, I thought the amount of, when he come on straight away, he's forward passing. Now, he's obviously been instructed to do that or been practicing it, because other times you pass sideways and backwards. And I understand a lot of times you want to do that for the patient build-up. But first thing he was looking to do is pass it forward, and he did a few times. I thought, that was a bit different. And just that simple pass from the number 6, and it's just it felt like we were playing a lot faster. And I'm not sure, because towards the middle of the game, I kind of forgot that he was on the pitch, not to be thinking. But I think it's just because we were so comfortable in possession most of the time. But I think he was a crucial part for today that kind of went a bit unnoticed. But he's not like this traditional number 6, so I still don't really know. I think he did really well, but I never know what to expect from him in terms of I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I just forget that he plays half the time. But I'm sure he is a crucial part of it. Maybe it's just me.
I think his energy and his work rate is brilliant. I wouldn't say he's the most gifted player we've got in the squad, but I think we've said numerous times on podcasts previously that if Cardiff City fans can see that our work rate is there and our desire is there to, win balls back once you've lost them, and I just think that can outweigh talent to a certain extent. And I've been quite surprised how well he has performed since he's come back in. I didn't expect to see him wear the Cardiff City shirt again, if I'm completely honest. But I'm kind of glad he have.
I think he's definitely probably taken on board what the new managers asked for him, and he's probably quieting down in the change rooms, haven't he? But one thing I've noticed the past couple of games, he's starting to pick up everything on that half turn. he's not very stationary now, and that was a big criticism. And when he was, his last time here before his loan, whereas now everything's forward thinking and he's a bit more aggressive in how he plays. And when he's cupping his ears to the away fans as well, that always goes down a treat, doesn't it?
I think it's I think it's a big reason as well why Chambers is not playing number 6. I don't think BBM sees him as mobile enough to play as a number 6 in this system. I think he worked well for us last season, number 6, because he was just a holding midfielder, and that was it. Don't cross the halfway line. But it seems like BBM wants to get all midfield players up and supporting, and a lot of times you'd see Wintle or Turnbull even overlapping out wide, which is interesting. You'd have like this wing play action going on, and I think it's just having that massive tank, that fuel tank in them, that it just seems to sort of like no one seems to get tired, which is great and all, but I'm thinking like, is this going to be the same, 20 games in or so? Because I feel like with Turnbull going off now, I hope that's nothing serious. But it's nice to know as well that you have someone like Joel Colwell to bring on as well.
Yeah, 100%. So you've hit the nail on the head there. We'll get a Ty Turnbull. I think he went off slight groin strain, I think BBM said in his post-match press conference or interview on the side of the pitch, and I think he alluded to back to the game against Wimbledon. He didn't start because they're still trying to manage him as well. I don't know if you know any more about that, but that's what it came across to me when I listened to the interview, that they're still trying to manage him, because obviously he missed lots of the season last season due to injury. But I thought, the games he has been involved in this year, I think, again, we're starting to see some of the glimpses of what he had with the partnership he had with Alex Robertson last season before he got injured.
Absolutely. He's one of those luxury players, isn't it? But we've got that ability to be able to have someone like him now, but he's just so composed on the ball and he creates so much for everyone else, I think. You were absolutely right, they are managing him, but it's the sort of game where you probably needed him in there. But, the difference this year is we've got options, haven't we? The flexibility within that squad is great, and if you look to go a different sort of way, our 6-8, and, they're very dynamic. There's so many different types of players we can actually put in there, which is, it's great,
Yeah, no, agreed. Fingers crossed. Like you said, I would imagine obviously he's not going to be risked now for Tuesday night, and you can have a week's rest, and fingers crossed he's not going to be on the sidelines for too long. I'm going to let Rob answer this one because I don't think he's been his favourite player for the majority of the season. But
I know where this is going.
Goal scorer, Mr. Chrissy Willock, on the left-hand side there. Probably the best performance in a Cardiff shirt for me today.
Yeah, I mean, the bar's not very high for him to have his best performance in a City shirt. Let's be completely honest.
Oh, is he frozen for anybody else?
Oh, he's doing that on purpose, isn't he? You didn't want to answer the question.
But I don't know if either of you have gone his back.
You hear me?
Yeah, you froze for a little bit.
Yeah, he's better off playing inside. He's not a winger. He's been played as a makeshift winger, and that's through no fault of his own, really. Let's be honest. Obviously, he's played where he's been told, but it just shows today what he can do. I'm back. Nice one, cheers, guys. It just shows what he can do as when he is playing in his natural position, and I thought he done really well. Jokes aside, I am deep down. I am pleased for him that he did do well today. I don't want to make it a thing where I'm fucking digging players out and whatever, but I wasn't impressed with him up until now, and I know it is only one game. It is only one game still, so hopefully that goal will do him the world of good. That performance, most importantly, will do him the world of good. And let's hope now he can be a key part for the season for all our sakes. So, yeah, have a diplomatic answer.
I've seen his, comments he made after the game when he was interviewed, and I think he's the first one to be open and honest and says, he hasn't shown his best in a Cardiff City shirt yet. There's more to come from him, and I thought he spoke very well in his post-match interview. So like you said, let's hope there's bigger and better things to come from him. And I think, would you start him again Tuesday?
Confidence in it.
I don't suppose, because our squad is so small, I don't suppose we're in a position where we can make loads and loads of changes unless we are going to, take a load of boys up from the 21s or the 23s or whatever they call nowadays. But I would imagine from, again, listening to BBM's post-match interview that we're going to go pretty strong again Tuesday because he wants to win the game.
What would be very nice would be to give Ruben a bit of a rest, maybe put him on the bench and probably put Willock in that role at 10.
Yeah.
What's great today was it was a different name again on the score sheet. Goals are coming from everywhere. But, you've got to build on these foundations of players that have probably been deprived of confidence and put them in a position where they can build that confidence. And, yet again, if he's doing that, let him thrive again. It's a cup game.
It's a great shout, Darren. It's a great shout.
Yeah, you got to rest them as well, haven't you? I mean, we can't rest every player once, but I know I get the idea of the squad being somewhat thin to preserve sort of like the competition and everything. But we do need a few more players. I personally want to just see like him just rest as many players as possible, and I'd love for a cup run, honestly. But we all know our main priorities. But at the same time, if he wants to go out and win it, fantastic, because it still really helps the momentum we have. The only thing is though, I don't want someone getting injured in a cup game and then we come to a league game when they're not there for that because they got injured in the cup match. That's my only sort of thing. Because, I mean, it was nice that we could today bring on someone like Yusuf Salak and all that. But if we get one of our strikers injured, I mean, what are you going to do? Shift Isaac Davis in the middle? Are you going to swap around with that? It's like, I don't want to ruffle too many feathers if things are going well, but we do need to think, 5-10 games time, we're going to start resting players like we tried to do with Joel Bagan the other day.
Am I right in saying that we've got an international break coming up, or does that not apply to League One?
I think you played through it, didn't you?
It depends on how many players have been selected, if I remember correctly. There's some sort of EFL rule, but I can't tell you the number off the top of my head.
I'll have to have a little look at that. Obviously, we've already talked about Ruben and Callum Robinson, so I'm not going to go too much into those as we've mentioned them at the beginning. So we'll kind of leave that. I am going to play a little ad, guys. So you are going to see Simon's face on the screen. So it's about a minute long. So bear with us. We will be back and then we will dip into the comments. So Ev's going to go through some of the comments. If you do want your comment to appear up on the screen, you can do the super chat option. It'll guarantee that your comment will be read out. But as you can probably guess, there's hundreds and hundreds of comments now for Evan to scroll through to pick out some good ones for us. But we will be back shortly after you see the boss man's ugly mug.
Mm-hmm.
This episode of Cardiff City World is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network, here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts, whether you're constantly negative, overly positive, or maybe even the instant over-the-top reaction social media guy or girl. For the football fashionistas still clinging to the legendary terrace fashion of yesteryear, or the best retro gear from Michael Thorne, the nostalgia merchants, dreaming of the old lady Ninian Park, or still celebrating Campbell's goal in the Millennium Stadium, whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker with a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season. Simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
And we're back in the room. Happy days. Whilst we are promoting things, I'm just going to chuck the spotlight on you, Ad. Do you want to tell the people the good news about, well, it might be good news to some, bad news for others, but what's happening on September the 19th, my friend?
Another sold-out event. Was that just under 7 days? Fantastic,
yeah.
And it's obviously, we're welcoming, obviously, Graham Kavanagh back home as we like to call it at Splott Cons. It's going to be another great night. I think it's going to be a lot of fantastic stories. We've had a couple of conversations with him now, and it's going to be one that's very exciting for the fans. And the people that are going to be there, I think, are going to really enjoy it. And the people that have delayed buying tickets, I think they're going to really miss out on a great night. So one that I'm very looking forward to.
Yes, very much so. It's another legend that's done lots for the club. My favourite moment is always going to be the Leeds free kick. I know he scored many other goals for us during his time here, but yeah, that's the one that stands out for me. As soon as you mentioned the name, I was there that day on the Bob Bank, and just the place went wild. It was incredible.
Wish I
really
was
want to get his I'm really intrigued to get his take on the current Cardiff City setup.
Yeah,
his expectations. I remember I was in the academy those days, and some of the things that he used to share. So I'm really intrigued how he sees the game now.
Where's his son playing at the moment, Dad? Do you know?
Is it? It's not Bradford, is it? Is it Bradford?
I'm not 100% sure. Evan will have a little look now.
How do you know?
I can see you tapping away.
Yeah.
We will dive into the comments as well, guys. Evan's going to pull them up and read them out. But like I said earlier, if you do want your comment, you can do the super chat option. Evan's going to have a look who our Kavanagh's son's playing.
He is.
I'm sure it's
playing. He was at Borough under 21s. He's now left and joined Bradford's for about €100,000. By the looks of it. That's his value. So there we are. He's at Bradford. Well done. You don't get any bonus points for that. You just get a well done, unfortunately. So all right, let's jump in then. I love the interactive side of this. I love to hear all your hot takes and everything. Straight away, Jumpers for Goalposts said, a statement win for the kids today. Been a City fan for 60 plus years and can't remember being so enthused by consistently good performances from a bunch of kids. Yeah, it makes me feel old as well. But give us a title now. Wow, just wow.
And I don't know if either, again, I'm going back to some of the comments after. As soon as the game's finished, I'm always straight on there looking for the post-match interviews and things. And I think Isaac Davis said something after the Wimbledon game Tuesday when the interviewer asked him, should the fans be excited? And he said, yeah, we want them to be excited. I think the players are grounded. They're taking it game by game. But, we've got every reason to be excited. I think we've got to have that element of patience as well, which I don't think as Cardiff fans, many of us do have, if I'm completely honest. But let's enjoy where we are. I don't think we're used to seeing this brand of football. Well, I know for a fact we're not. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the roller coaster when, we're at the top type of thing. So,
yeah, let's not wait. Let's just enjoy it now while it lasts, isn't it? Not to be again, always pessimist at the end thinking. But no, it's let's not hold back, isn't it? It's like we haven't had this for such a long time where we're actually scoring goals and winning games, It's this is new for us.
It's also the fact, these youngsters, they know no fear, do they?
No.
And they've been schooled through the academy for this type of football. I think those, getting rid of so many players over the summer has probably only benefited us. It's probably got rid of that negativity, that element of pessimism, and has brought a newfound enthusiasm within the team, to be fair.
Yeah. Jonathan says, positivity in Cardiff City. BBM, what have you done?
So I'll add to that then. And there's a question I wanted to ask for Aaron. Obviously, you've been in and around the club now for a few years. Are you surprised at how quick that the squad has been able to adapt and play under BBM?
My personal opinion would have been yes, but the people I know that work around the academy and the people that watch that know, Brian's sort of style of football is exactly what Cardiff City have been doing for a very long time. But there's been an issue where they can't get it to replicate between the 23s and the first team for whatever reason, whether that's managers coming in and their own style of play. But Brian's just bought into it and he's very engaging with it. So there is a complete now one club adopt sort of ethos. There's no 23s, 18s, first team. It is all as City as well as the old mantras. And no, I just think that it's been a long time coming. I think this relegation's probably benefited us. for the first time in a long time, the board have actually probably got it right, which I never thought I'd say that, to be fair, and I think it is early days, but, the sort of successes are built on the greatest of foundations, and I think he's setting everything, and, he's keeping everyone firmly on the floor, so I think it's pretty good times for us, isn't it?
It's nice to hear the fans shouting, "We are top of the league" as well. Haven't heard that for a long time.
Wow.
Oh, guys. Let's have a look who else
What
we got.
else we got up
JT.
there, Ev?
Yeah. I have to be very selective, very sorry. There's so many good comments here, but I've got to pick the best. We need signings immediately with injuries already happening. Otherwise, we'll be calling up the under 17s. JT, I got to be honest, I am halfway with you on that one because I feel like just because of the conveyor belt we have for the youth as well, I feel like I don't want to disrupt it now because we could, if you really wanted to, just call up loads of youngsters and, I'm sure they could give it a good go. Not saying we would ace the league, but do you think that's maybe a bit of a concern that I know whilst we have got transfers in the making or brewing up, does that concern you if we get a couple more injuries? We might be running a bit thin.
From what I've seen and what I've heard around the club is that he's not going to just bring people in just to take a spot, but secondly, you've also got to be able to do a magnitude of positions and have that ability. So I think at the moment, I know our squad's quite light, but there's players that can sort of facilitate different positions and different requirements. And, there's still players in that, in around that 23s that we haven't seen. And we've got to trust that they're probably ready as well. There's some really good
like
news.
we said, there's players in that 23s who've come in with a bit of a reputation. And like you said, we haven't seen them yet.
Exactly.
And if they can do a job like the ones who already have come in, then for me, it's not a major concern for me. He speaks very well in his interviews as Brian Barry Murphy, and Alan mentioned it probably before we come on live. And how calm and collective he is. He doesn't give anything away. I think he's open and honest. They are working to get people in. But yeah, he just doesn't give any. He just looks so cool, calm, and collective for me.
He's got a bit of a poker face about him, hasn't he? He's like not like a deceiving poker face, but it's like you can't really tell exactly how he's feeling.
And he's very clever. He knows when to put players in. He also knows when to take them out. Pulled the youngster at half hour because of that. He knew when to pull Chambers and not to play Chambers. He's very, very clever. So if you put someone in, you just know that they're ready.
100%. Paul, I'm not sure if you can spot the odd one out there, but great win. So impressed by this young side. Keep doing what they're doing, proving people wrong. I think that's a big part, isn't it? I think everyone looks at Cardiff City. They maybe we do it to ourselves sometimes, but we've always had that reputation of like a mid-table championship club. But hopefully we can prove them wrong in League One. I'm not sure.
I'm just missing the stigma of the long ball team that we used to be criticised about.
Yeah, hoofball.
But just going back to the game today is, and I watched a couple of Luton things after the game, and they said, Cardiff looked like the home team for the majority of the game.
Yeah,
we haven't had, I think we finished up with 62% possession today. Now I think Wimbledon was like 68. I think we had 75% possession against Rotherham. We're just not used to having the amount of ball. And I think that's where a lot of fans are getting frustrated is the fact that we've got the ball for so long and we're not scoring, 3, 4, 5 goals. But we're winning football games and we're in control of football games for the majority of the time. So, if we win every game from now to the end of the season 1-0 with 62% possession, I'd bite your hand off.
And that's the caveat to that, isn't it? We're not scoring, but we're also not conceding. I think, was it 1 goal, which wasn't even in open play?
Yeah. It's not, you couldn't stop that, could you? I mean, that was it was a penalty that was struck hard. And, I wish Matt Turner was still involved. I'm sure he will be heavily involved and he'd be number 2 now. But I thought, whilst it was harsh, I think, he knew who he signed in their BBM. He wanted that keeper. And my God, I'm glad we signed him. I say, and with the buy option as well, if we get promoted. But yeah, it's just a breath of fresh air, honestly. Carry on a second.
Sorry, Matt Turner's another example of that. He may, thinking he's number 2, but he's also ousted Jack Alwick and even Hobart, you know what I mean, the 2 senior established keepers. So his progression is massive. I think it was last season people were saying he should go on loan to like non-league football or Welsh League. You know, so there are jumps around that team that are happening.
He'll always be a legend for me after that Swansea game when he held the corner flag up. I thought that was brilliant.
Love it.
Scored some belters already, and it's 6. I think, is it 5 games? I think it's 5 games actually in. So we are just wanting more shots and goals. Yeah, look, I think the thing is, right, once you get that good feeling, you kind of just want more and more. Like it's never enough, is it? Once you have one taste of a cookie, you want the whole cookie, then you want more, and it's just the sugar rush, isn't it? And I think we're going to be more critical regardless of whether we're winning or losing games. And if I'm being honest, right, it's a nice feeling winning, I got to say. So, of course, we're going to want more. But I understand as well, like we have scored 2 belters of free kicks and we've been spoilt in some ways as well. But at the same time, I think we've fully deserving of these wins as well. I mean, it was only really the Port Vale game, I think, was a bit of a reality shock because, let's be honest, it's our first away game. But I thought, like, whether they're belters or not, it's nice to see us be so dominant for most of the game as well.
I was slightly disappointed in our corners today, though. I think a couple of times we didn't beat the first man, and I think obviously they had big players in the box in McGuinness and they had the centre back. But again, I was slightly disappointed in that. We kind of went a little bit backwards. I think for me, that was the only negative from the game today for me, really, and obviously Turnbull's injury.
Sorry, I got so many comments here. There's a bunch about Turnbull saying hope he's all right and that. Martin Ryan says thought Robinson's movement was much better today. I think, it's pressing maybe, I think in particular, whilst he didn't finish that clear chance. But
and his movement for Willock's goal as well, I think he kind of took a couple of defenders out of the way and allowed him to get the shot off, didn't he? So, you know, fair play to him. I thought he worked hard today, and he's come under a bit of a scrutiny of some fans. And let's be fair, if strikers are not scoring goals, they are going to pick up, you know, scrutiny and things because they're not hitting the back of the net. But I thought he worked his socks off for the team today. It was nice to see him sat in the dugout after the game with a smile on his face. I think I spoke to Aaron not so long back. Was it the Rotherham game? I think he only had 10 minutes and he kind of just... Robinson's normally one. He'll go around the entire pitch and clap the fans. But he kind of just walked across the halfway line, clapped and kind of went straight down the tunnel. And I thought, that doesn't look too good. But it was nice to see him play for 60, 70 minutes today. Smile on his face, sat on the bench. He had a smile when he embraced BBM after the game. So hopefully that's all, like I said, just needs a bit of confidence now. Get that ball to the back of the net and hopefully he'll hit another 10, 15 goals for us this season.
Also, being a centre forward in Brian's sort of the way he likes to play and set up, it must be very, very draining. The amount of running, the numbers you've got to put in. A lot of time you're just creating space for other people as well. So it's completely different, isn't it? So probably what the average sort of striker expects. You know, he's expecting just to put shots on goal. So no, credit where credit's due. He deserved it today, to be fair.
So Bobby Firmino in like that Liverpool thing that everyone expected to score, but in effect he's making everyone else look good. So I think he is always going to be more like a false nine kind of striker, even though we want him to be on the last man. But if the team's winning, I'm not so worried about that. Like I think we all predicted Salih by now would have scored about 7 goals, you know, maybe like 2 hat-tricks or something. But you know, he's got on the score sheet, and obviously we have high expectations. But I say, as long as we're winning, I'm sure he's happy as well. And that's the main thing, is you just keep that buzzing feeling through changing rooms. Luke, go on.
Before you put the next comment up as well, I think Simon have said about it on previous podcasts as well, about how dominant we are and how much possession we do have with the ball. You know, it's not going to take long, I don't think, until we'll play against a side and we'll pump them 5 or 6. You'll see the Coventry City game against QPR today, 7-1. And you can see that performance is there. If we're able to have a performance and take our chances, and I know that's a bit of a cliche, but you can see there'll be a couple of tune-ins for teams this season, I think, if we carry on being able to adapt to BBM's philosophy of the way he wants to play football, because there's no doubt we've got the talent in that squad that's able to play that football.
100%. It's the testing season. The season is experimental, isn't it? But it's great that we have to do it in League One as opposed to just starting in the Championship, because I think a lot of teams probably would be able to break it early doors, and that might have discouraged us a bit, because I think we tried to play a version of that under Bullet, and I think when you're trying to play pass on the back and you don't really have clear communication of how we want it to be done, you saw what happens. We didn't get a point for God knows how many games, or more than 1 point.
8 games last year, wasn't it?
Something like that was crazy.
I think with Bullet, though, there was no purpose to how he tried to play. It was just a possession game.
Yeah.
You can see with Brian, there's a purpose to everything he does.
Oh, 100%, mate. I got to go through some of these comments. I will say, Louise, I'm not going to break up a comment, but yes, those mascots that Luton had, they were a bit creepy looking, weren't they? Graham says his club's coming in for BBM. That would worry me. Well, the fact he's on a 3-year deal at the moment, so we're at least having him from a year, and even then, they're going to have to pay him out of his contract quite a bit if that's the case. But yeah, I think he would want to he's got a project that he wants now. Why would he want to go elsewhere unless he's getting the Premier League offer, if I'm being honest? But that could change.
That's a difficult one, isn't it, really? Because you look and you'd think, well, if other clubs want our manager, it must mean that we're doing well. So,
yeah.
So obviously, I don't want him to go. I don't. But if it means that we are doing well, then, long may it continue, and let the rumours circulate, but just don't accept the call. Sorry,
Aaron, were you going to come in then?
I was just going to say, Brian and Cardiff it's a strange relationship. It's a clear-cut fit. Brian obviously has aspirations to be, a Premier League manager eventually, but I think where he is in his career and his role, I think, when you've got a sleeping giant like Cardiff City that have the potential to be so big, you'd be very silly to leave that, and especially with the early season form squad you've got, he's not a stupid man. You'll probably see him for a season or two, and at that point, if he doesn't probably get us to where he wants to be, then you may see something like that, but I don't think he's stupid enough to leave.
No, I think the Championship, at least he's getting us 2 before he's thinking of someone else. If he takes him 2 seasons and he can't get Championship, maybe you could argue then, but that's how I see it. Halftime Orange says, do you think any of the after 5 games we would be where we are currently, and was today's match probably the hardest we will face this season? I think it's probably going to be a little half step up from this, because I felt Luton didn't really, they sat back for a lot of it. I think teams like Huddersfield maybe tried to press us a bit more, I'm not sure, but I think that was one of the harder tests today. What do you reckon?
I just think Cardiff City is the unknown at the minute. Nobody knows how to play against us. Nobody gets our players. But you know what? We're just, the way I look at it is reputation and league position. Luton were there or thereabouts, weren't they, in the league table before this game. Their reputation is a half-decent team. They've invested quite a bit. And they play, some of the value of their players for League One are quite large. And you know what? We beat them. And, we beat them in stats. We beat them on a lot of things. So, you know what? I think,
I think I said earlier as well, I was disappointed, surprised really, that we went there and made it look so comfortable really, but I weren't surprised really on a Cardiff point, really, the way that we have started and how we've dominated games. I thought Luton would bring more to it. I didn't think we'd have as much control of possession as we did, if I'm completely honest, but credit to the players that are out on the park. They've obviously gone there with a game plan. It's worked. We've come away with 3 points. I think it's hard to say, is that going to be our most difficult game? Because as you go through the season and around Christmas and things and picking up injuries, this, that and the other, it's difficult to say for me, because I think we will come up against teams where perhaps we're missing 2, 3, 4 of our key players, and that's when they've all got to dig in and give it that extra kind of 10% type of thing and work harder really.
And also they're a team that you expect to be thereabouts at the end of the season. You've taken 3 points on their patch, so it's a game at the end of the season you haven't got to play.
Yeah, you don't have to want to come down to that last game, do you? Especially away now. We've got a nice big one out of the way. Let's just, we focus now on Cheltenham and think Plymouth after that.
I think before the game today, I think I initially put a 1-1 draw, I think. So I think I did before the game, I would have been happy coming away with a point. Ecstatic that we managed to pick up all 3. I think part of that question there was I didn't think we'd be top of the league. I can't remember my 5 predictions. But just keep going the way we're going.
Exactly. I mean, Trotter's a breath of fresh air. The only thing I would criticise for him is that I did expect him to score a goal from inside his own box, but I think apart from that, I think Tan will allow him off this time. But yeah, I think it's just nice to have security, in goals. I think because I think both keepers we had before offered something valuable for us, but I think it was the yin and the yang. If they had, if we had possibly Annick's confidence and his ability to command the back 4, plus Ethan Horvath's shot stopping, and then someone else's distribution, I think we would have had a decent keeper. But I think Trot just has the 3-in-1, doesn't it? It's like the men's conditioner, body wash, shower, shampoo, like hair gel thing, isn't it? It's like it's all you need in one bottle.
What I loved about Trot, and I know the saves are pretty good, was that cross catch in about 85 minutes when the pressure was on, and he just, no pressure,
like
takes it,
salmon, come up for it.
Yeah, relieves it for everyone, gets the team at the pitch, and he's got that smile on his face. He's leading everyone else, you know what I mean? It must be a breath of fresh air for Lawler and that, to have someone with that sort of, the confidence behind you. And you can see that he's talking them through the game as well, which is fantastic. Yeah, and he loves the celebration with the City fans as well, doesn't he? Every game.
Yeah, and let's give them credit again. I know your brothers. I think you said to me before we went on live, your brother ever missed is it 1 game in 4 years or something?
Something silly like that, isn't it? Bonkers, isn't it?
Is for the fans who will go away week in, week out, nothing but respect. It's incredible. The support, they looked absolutely bouncing again in that away end today. So, awesome. And hopefully everybody got home safe and sound. Yeah,
I just because I'm enjoying so much, I can't hang on for another 5 or so. I am catching up to the comments now. I appreciate everyone commenting. I'd love to see loads of green names again from members. If you're not already one, please do become one, especially for future live events that we have. We just sold out on one. But
don't you become a member, Ev?
Have a look. I'm not at the bottom now, so I can't do it. But if you see your scroll at the bottom there, you can follow that and you can become a member on Patreon. And it's literally a price a cup of coffee or less, depending on how inflation goes nowadays. But yeah, honestly, it's cheap as chips and very simple to set up. And you can get access to exclusive shows. Recently did one with Omar Reza, and there's other ones as well, early access to videos, to live events. So please do become a member. Again, it's the price of nothing, honestly. You could probably get about half chips at the stadium for that. So, but
there is a QR code in the corner of the screen as well. You can join via Patreon. So you can scan that, and any support you're able to give the channel is much appreciated.
Out of 10, how did I do? Go on, rate me.
No comment.
Okay, never mind. It was a 1 then.
Didn't Trot get a 9 out of 10 on one score review? And it's like, how was that even possible?
Won't be surprised.
What would you do for 10 out of 10?
That would be good. I put a 10 out of 10 on my Discord thing. But this team will only get stronger, says Phil Jones. The slick passing compared to the sloppy play last season is chalk and cheese. I think at times we put some really, really slick passing together. I think there's still, you could tell the players are young, right? You could expect the mistakes. But for the most part, I can't really criticize how we were playing today or the last few games, really.
Yeah, I think Capaccio had 10 minutes in the second half where perhaps a couple of heavy touches and put us under pressure a little bit. But again, he's young. He'll make mistakes. But, for all the positives he done in the game, you can, afford the odd mistake. It obviously didn't cost us today. But... and he learned from that as well. He learned from the mistakes.
But what's great about it as well is the players are making these odd mistakes, but they're not shirking away from it. They're still picking up the ball. They're still driving again. Years gone by, people be hiding in the change rooms at those moments, wouldn't they?
100%, mate. And I think going back to the BBM mentality, then I think when we lose balls now, we are busting a gut to get our ball back. Numerous times today, we thought, "Oh, Luton got," and before you know it, we're on the attack again. I think that mentality switch has gone up. I don't know how much from last season. Is incredible, really, for me. I just can't believe how much. And again, no disrespect to the teams in League One, but perhaps this, the standard is probably not as great. But we can only play what's in front of us. But I just, at the moment, it's an exciting time to be a Cardiff City fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I will give one credit, though, because Reece Lasky says, left winger give our right back a good battle today. That was Milanek Ali. I've just searched him up, and I remember the commentator saying a couple of seasons ago he was playing non-league football, and now this guy could be signed to a championship club. And the fact that we dealt with him, he was a real tough case for Capaccio, and he did beat him a few times. But even when he got beat, he still kind of got something on him to put him off his cross or his shot. And I think if it weren't for that, they could have had a couple of goals from him, because I think Ali is their best player by far. And it seemed like they were trying to do direct wing play where they just have the pace out wide, because they were like a 5-4-1 for most of the game. But if it weren't really for their wingers, like their pacey wingers, I don't think they really pose as much threat, really.
No, I agree with you.
Last few. Here we are. Which is better, scoring goals or clean sheets? Well, I mean, you can get a clean sheet without scoring goals, but if I'm being honest, you can outscore the opposition in League One. Not sure if you can do it in bigger leagues.
I would just say that the celebrating for scoring goals, nothing replicates that, does it?
Yeah.
And it all depends who you ask. If you're asking a striker or a goalkeeper.
Love that.
Well, even Tan would think goalkeepers should be scoring goals anyway. So
Robinson's effort from halfway was closer than he got from 6 yards, mind.
Well, when he first shot that, I was thinking, oh Christ, he's trying that halfway line goal again. And I was like, oh, actually, you know what? And he was on target. And I was thinking, any other day, I mean, you could say it was a good save, but I don't think the keeper expected that in 1,000 years. But,
no, but I was listening to the commentary, and apparently he's known for coming quite a way off his line. And obviously, Aaron mentioned earlier he's a goalkeeper, and I suppose you see the goals now quite regular, don't you? Where people are not afraid to shoot from the halfway line, but you've just got to be on the ball, I suppose, mate, don't you?
Considering he's quite a small keeper as well, isn't he?
That's a point as well, and I forgot to mention it. Do you think he was lucky to stay on the field, Aaron?
Oh,
absolutely. I think, if you're asking me, I think he knows that he's beaten and he's making sure he leaves something on them. I get, the whole letter of the law about a covering defender and stuff, but he knows what he's doing there. So he's reckless, isn't he? And I don't think there could have been many arguments if he'd have went, but,
Come on, let's be honest, right? If I was our keeper, like, what's the chances? Horvath or Arnick, right? It was even Trot, like, it doesn't matter really, but I'm sorry, I hate to be like the us versus them mentality, but you can't not think that, right? The calls that we've had so far this season, and we still pursued and won games. I was genuinely thinking, right, whether he's intending to kick the ball or not, he's run out of his box, so he's out of control, so he can't use his hands. So the only thing he can do is literally kick or knee it. So I don't know. I think if he made contact, you've got to give a red. But I think for the pure fact that he didn't really make as much contact, maybe then. But that still bugs me really, because I
thought he clattered him, didn't he? At the shoulder side of his head, didn't he?
Yeah, I think because it wasn't like direct on, maybe. But that's at the same time, I think
it's one of those ones that the home team will get it, the away team doesn't.
Yeah, because the fans are being uproar. I think the rest maybe cave the pressure. But
it was very similar to the Keller one against Liverpool in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but, I've caught up now last few comments, but guys, thanks so much for getting the comments. I think people are giving up now because I've got so many to go through. But Martin says Ashford supported Capaccio really well today. I think both sides as well. Like, I think it's just Willock as well. Like, again, defense first and then attack, and that really helped as well.
That's a relationship I'm looking forward to this season, Ashford and Capaccio. I think that's one that's going to really thrive on that side.
I just love how Capaccio's got no fear to go forward and support Ashford. And I just think it opens up so many more options. You're not just relying on Ashford perhaps putting a ball in. Capacchio's there to support as well. And even Joel Caldwell was out supporting on our right-hand side when he come on as well. And it just gives us so many more options when you've got somebody. And no disrespect to Perry NG. I think you mentioned it earlier that you don't see him fitting into BBM's style. And I think you're spot on. I think he likes them players to be able to go into the midfield or go up them wings. It just gives us so much more options, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he can do it, NG, because he's done it before. But I think at this point, when he's had problems with his hip and things like that, it's a bit of a liability to expect him, especially after coming back from, pretty nasty injury, really. But I would have thought that O'Dowda would have really suited this, and I'm surprised he's gone because I thought he still had quite a lot to offer, and it's a shame he didn't come off. And it would have been nice for him and Rinomota to have a redemption season. But yeah, it's just a shame that he's gone to somewhere like a Hungarian team. No disrespect, but if I'm being honest, I think he's a bit too good to be, not around the championship clubs. But
let's be fair, he's probably seen the pound signs. And
yeah, it's fair enough.
Family probably, and Adam might know more than what I will. But you've got to think what's best for him in his career. I'm not sure how old O'Dowda was. He was probably 30. Was he 31?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Two things on O'Dowda. One, I don't think his legs would have been able to do what Brian's asking. His hamstrings and that. I think from a fitness perspective, I don't think we would have got a batch of games out of him. But secondly, I know that he's also said that he would love to come back to Cardiff in some capacity.
Okay. Yeah.
That's something definitely, whether that's playing or something differently, and obviously, his partner, and that's from Cardiff now. So
you throwing the allegedly term out there just to be. No, there you are. Fully bold prediction. Yeah. Oh, statement. But go on.
There was a comment in here from Phil. I'm going to see if I can find it. I don't know if you put it up.
Wasn't by Louise.
Let me see if I can find it. Apologies. Who was your man of the match today? Is it a silly question? I would have thought.
That one?
It goes for Neil. No, not that one, buddy. I'll keep scrolling. You and Aaron talk about your man of the match.
Go on, Aaron.
Well, you can't look much further than the keeper, can you, to be fair? I think he did everything
100%.
And more, So,
Yeah, that's mine as well.
Great testament in it to be, and that's the thing, we're winning games, and I think the past couple of games, it's all the defensive elements of it, and it's only a matter of time before it starts to be one of those attacking players. But
yeah, I think if we let one of those goals in, maybe, and especially for Luton crowd, they expect to be going back up. Does that atmosphere away from home then? I don't know. Maybe does it deter players? Because yes, we've played away our performances and pursued through. But if I'm being honest, Port Vale and who was the other team we played away? Or was that it so far? Yeah, exactly. It's like, not easy places to play at. We haven't played there before, really. But I think Luton, I felt like their fans are pretty loud for the majority of it. I don't know. I think I'm just so glad that he's pulled off some world-class saves. I did not expect every time they had a shot on goal, they are 1-0, and he still kept it in.
What I've noticed about Trott as well, though, is he's got this David Marshall element about him. I just feel like every shot that's going to go at him, it just doesn't go in.
I just need a Scottish accent. He's sorted then.
It's just everything that goes at him, you just expect him to save it.
Yeah.
And it's almost if it's going to go past him, it's got to be an absolute worldie because he just doesn't concede. He's like a wall, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Right, I found the comment. We'll finish up on this one, guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And obviously the engagement, very much appreciate. But Phil Jones says, all those old and not so talented players that left the club were holding us back as a club. Happy they're gone. BBM's Barmy Army. We'll finish there, boys and girls. Like I said, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Stay tuned. Si will be back with a breakdown pod tomorrow, I'm sure. And he'll let you know then tomorrow what's in store for next week. But Evan, thank you very much for joining us. Aaron, thank you very much for joining me, buddy. Much appreciated. If you can, all like, share, The posts, as Evan said earlier, if you're not a member and you want to become a member, you can do. The QR code is there, or you can follow the information that's gone through the bottom of the screen for the entire show. No star pope.
Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.